Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this celebration of the University in Engineering and Technology over the last 20 years, and particularly the last 20 years of Formula Student. It's fantastic to see so many of you here, and I'd particularly like to welcome our special guests, Councillor James Broach, Mayor of Hatfield Town Council, Councillor Barbara Fitzsimon, Deputy Mayor of Welwyn Hatfield Borough Council, Councillor Pam Stewart, Mayor of Stevenage Borough Council, and Councillor Susan Dunkley, Mayor of Hertford Town Council, and also Vicky Butler Henderson, who we'll be hearing from a little later. We're also delighted to see so many of our engineering and technology alumni, sponsors and supporters of the Formula Student team, the Chairman of the Board of Governors, Mr. Richard Beasley, and other members of the University Board of Governors and Court. Whilst we are of course here to celebrate what has been an extremely hard year of work for our students and staff with a Formula Student car, you will also know that on the 29th of June this year, the university will celebrate 25 years of being a university. Our predecessor institution, Hatfield Polytechnic, was founded on excellence in engineering and technology. In 1992, we had approximately 9,200 students, and the university now has a student community of 24,600 on UK-based programmes, and that includes more than 2,800 international students. In addition to this, we have more than 6,400 students studying on courses outside the UK. This year also marks a milestone for Formula Student. UH Racing is now in its 20th year, with the team designing and building their 20th combustion engine car. Throughout the last 20 years, countless awards have been won, and the team have entered Formula Student competitions worldwide, including in Germany, Australia, and the USA, and for the first time this year in the Czech Republic. Our cars have often been cutting-edge petrol, electric, and hydrogen-powered cars, and UH Racing continues to evolve new technologies every year to produce a successful single-seat race car. The University of Hertfordshire's racing team are the UK's most successful Formula Student team of all time, and we're incredibly proud of them. As a testament to the advanced skills and attributes that our students develop on the team, there is a UH graduate in nearly every British Formula One team, and the students are highly employable as they graduate from the university. I thought I'd share a few highlights over the last 25 years for you to perhaps reflect back on and remember. In 1993, Mitsubishi and engineering here collaborated by offering new training courses in a newly established electronics and electrical engineering centre. In 1998, the university competed in the first ever Formula Student competition held in the UK. In 2000, a UH racing car built by students under the guidance of Dr. Phil Green was featured on BBC Two's Top Gear, and hence the link to Vicky, who drove the car, I think, in that year as well. In 2002, engineering took delivery of our first flight simulator to be used as a teaching tool, and we're now expanding those numbers with an investment from the university for another further 3 state-of-the-art simulators. In 2003, a £500,000 automotive engineering centre was opened, and on the same year, for what I'm sure was a much more expensive sum, the new de Havilland campus, where we are tonight, was opened. In 2007, the university entered the first ever hydrogen-powered Formula Student racing car, and in 2010, the university won Entrepreneurial University of the Year award. 2012 saw the university celebrate 60 years as a higher education institution, and this year, again in engineering, for the first time we entered the Shell Eco Marathon competition and came fourth with a fuel consumption of 510 miles per gallon. And that's pretty impressive, I think. Designing, building, racing cars doesn't happen by magic. It requires many, many hours of dedicated work by students across many years of study, by technical staff and academic staff, and I'd like to say a huge thank you to those who over many years have helped make this happen. In particular, I'd like to highlight Dr. Howard Ash, who for over 11 years has worked incredibly hard to ensure that our teams are ready to perform. I know Howard's wife and children are here tonight, and I'd like to thank Justine, Millie and Nathan for allowing us to benefit from Howard's expertise and particularly his time over these many years. Finally, at the end of this Formula Student segment of this evening, I'd like to encourage you to have a browse through the historical images and information about the university and about engineering over the last 25 years outside in the atrium area. And now we'd like to play for you a video made for the team by one of our sponsors that highlights what goes into creating an FS car. Thank you.
It's very inspirational knowing that previous teams have had such success with their cars. UH Racing started back in 1997 with the UH1 car. Obviously the resources they had at the time were very different, but a lot of their designs have fundamentally been carried over through the years, and we develop and refine them, and that's what's on the car today. We wouldn't be who we are without them. All that hard work that they put in has helped us here today.
We're currently working on UH20, University's 24th car, and we're really looking to build on some of the strengths and the positives we've come out from the last, 4 or 5 years of cars. And the team this year has really allowed us to do that with so many varied strengths throughout the cohort. We've really managed to push the boundaries this year and try things we've not perhaps done before, and it should really result in a fantastic finish at competition. And we're now at the stage where we're basically a really close-knit family, and we're able to just generally really get on with each other. When you put under pressure, you can really rely on those people, and it's just fantastic.
Everyone brings in their own ideas and their own innovations. Looking to the future for the team, we're hoping to increase power as well as making the car as lightweight as possible, introducing turbocharging and high compression engines, as well as moving towards a full carbon fibre monocoque chassis in the future. There's so many options and possibilities that come from being part of the team. We get to design the car, we get to build the car. So you're not just designing something pen on paper, you see it in reality and you see it on track. And it's a very proud moment. It's a feeling that you don't get anywhere else. Second place would never be good enough for us. We want to win, we want to be the top UK university, we want to be top in the world.
Right, good evening and welcome to the launch event of our 2017 Formula Student car, UH20. My name is Tristan Tissman and I'm the team leader for this year's Formula Student team. This year UH Racing celebrates its 20th anniversary whilst the university celebrates its 25th. So I first wanted to give you guys a massive thanks for coming along and making this event so special for us all. Formula Student, for those of you who don't know much about the series, is actually an engineering design competition run and organised in the UK by the IMechE. It challenges university students to design and build a car before taking it to Silverstone in the summer and compete against universities from around the world in a series of static and dynamic events. The dynamic events are designed to test a car's acceleration, handling, longevity, reliability, and fuel economy. But it's not all about building the quickest car. The competition is scored based on a point system, and roughly a third of which are based on the static events. And these include the business presentation, the cost event, and the design event. And these are really designed to stretch us as engineers and really consider the real-world challenges, such as being able to sell the car as a marketable product and prepare the car for costing for a large-scale production volume. UH20 itself has been designed and built by a team of 22 engineering students from the University of Hertfordshire, and they're all from a very broad base of different levels and skills of experience from previous projects. This, we feel, is the best way to introduce new and innovative ideas into the program, which ultimately leads to a really competitive car every single year. Thoughts about the design of the car itself started way back in summer of 2016, after the end of the Formula Student Germany competition. Here, the returning team members sat down and evaluated the strengths and weaknesses of the performance of UH19 last year's car. This led to a number of design objectives being put together, which were carried forward right the way till the design freeze stage in Christmas of 2016 also. And I have to say the team this year has been absolutely superb and has hence allowed us to achieve some of our really ambitious goals and get the car to the finished product, which you see here in a minute. As I've already mentioned, this year we celebrate UH Racing's 20th anniversary, but what some of you might not realise is this is actually our 24th vehicle. We've had numerous successes in a broad range of events about the competition, including, as Rodney's already said, being the first university in the world to implement the first electric and hydrogen powertrains. As well as these notable successes, Formula Student, and specifically UH Racing, have welcomed the likes of Martin Brundle, Ross Brawn, David Coulthard, and the BBC, as well as others, to its event. And this evening, we're very lucky to have one of these return to the world of Formula Student. Vicky Butler-Henderson actually drove our car back in 2000 with Top Gear, so it'll be really interesting to get her thoughts on our new design. She's had a hugely successful and exciting career, and we're really, really incredibly lucky to be welcoming her this evening. So without any further ado, please join me in welcoming her to the stage. That's right, enjoy.
Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for that. It is a huge honour for me to be here to help celebrate UH Racing tonight, which has gone from being the best presented team in 1998 to the UK's most successful Formula Student team. And back in 99, when I was a presenter for BBC Top Gear, I drove the team's car for that year. And what struck me most of all was the passion for the team, the dedication that each person had when it came to making their particular section of the car. And everyone worked so hard to make the car as good as it could possibly be. And I can tell that that is exactly the same with this year's team, albeit with the benefit of some more modern technology to help them along the way. And it is wonderful to see, and I congratulate everyone who has been involved. And I'd like us all to give a round of applause for every single person who has been involved in this year's car. Well done, everyone. Fantastic. Now, my own passion for four wheels started when I sat on my father's knee as he drove a tractor on our farm fields. He was in the British karting team as a teenager, and his father before him, my grandfather, raced something called a Fraser Nash at Brooklands in Surrey. And when I was about 11 years old, we dug an old cart of Dad's out from the back of a barn, stuck an engine on it, and off I went. And this is me, aged 11, at my local kart track, which is in Hertfordshire. It's Rye House near Hoddesdon. So that was me cutting my teeth. The first race I ever did was when I was 12 years old. It was against a young chap who had been doing it a bit longer than I had. And his name was David Coulthard. He went on to become one of Britain's best point scorers in Formula One, and I went on to work for Channel 5. Then I did have some success, though, on the track. In 2001, I became the first woman in the history of Maserati to win a Maserati race. And this is at Silverstone. It was part of the Formula One Grand Prix weekend. And it was the most exhilarating, fantastic experience to stand on top of the podium with the national anthem going, the Union flag flying, and the people in front of me, it was a packed grandstand, and they were just, thrilled to see a British winner that day. Later on in the day, Michael Schumacher won the actual Formula One race, so I was there sort of token Brit for the day. And just a word of warning, if you ever are going to spray champagne like that, it absolutely stinks. So wash your clothes immediately afterwards. I still race today whenever I can, and I most recently competed a couple of weeks ago in a John Cooper Works Mini at Snetterton. It's a 265 brake horsepower, fire-breathing dragon. It's a one-make series. There's about 30 of us on the grid. It is super competitive, but a lot of fun. Now, over the years, I've also been a road tester on various magazines, such as Auto Express and What Car, and I still write about cars today. Now, I have done some amazing things in my life, from driving a Formula student car to driving a Formula One car. But there is one thing that I have never, ever done, and I really wish that I would have done, and that is to go to university. And I would definitely have been part of the Formula student team had I done so. But it is more than enough about me. Let us get on with the main attraction. And it is a great pleasure for me to introduce a short video about the making of the machine that we're all here to celebrate tonight, UH20.
Being UH Racing's 20th year, we aim to reflect on a strong heritage by producing an effective, high-performing car in order to achieve our goal of winning a competition at Silverstone this summer. Using the team members' individual, unique skill sets, a decision was made to complete a full redesign on each system of the car and take a step back and look at the fundamentals so that each part could be studied for improvement.
Designing and manufacturing the parts ourselves not only allows us to learn a huge amount of skills as young engineers, but also allows the bespoke design to be tailored to our exact requirements for the application.
For UH20, we have implemented a number of new systems to increase the power and drivability of our existing powertrain unit. The introduction of a turbocharger to the Honda CBR 500R engine, thanks to our sponsor Honeywell, has led to a huge amount of powertrain development over the year. Testing has been completed prior to the competition in order to maximise its performance on track.
The aerodynamics package has been developed using computer simulations and physical testing from previous cars. It showed that increasing the downforce further was key to improving the lap times on the tight and twisty laps seen at competition. A more aggressive front and rear wing, as well as the addition of side wings, has been used to achieve this. This year we also have a number of really innovative parts on the car, such as bespoke student design brake calipers, as well as a lightweight quick adjustable pedal box. This year's suspension system sees a complete redesign from previous cars. The direct damping setup is designed in order to maximise performance by increasing the stiffness between the components, from the wheel all the way to the chassis. By doing this, the driver will feel a more predictable behaviour of the car, and the team will be able to apply more effective setup changes as a result, and overall improve lap times.
A new tyre choice has been made to improve both the outright performance and drivability of the car, as well as allowing a larger rim size to aid the brake cooling.
To control the complicated systems on the car and to log the important data for development, an array of electronic control systems are needed, such as an ECU and a power distribution unit. We can view live telemetry of the car, logging up to 100 channels of information, all remotely with our bespoke student design system.
Oh, fantastic stuff. When can I drive it? So let us learn a bit more about the car then from the key people who have been involved. And I'm going to start with Howard Ash, who is the project supervisor, and you've been with Formula Students since 1997 and with this university for 11 years. So what are your thoughts on this year's car?
We've got an absolutely fantastic car. I have to say this year I've been very lucky with the team we've had. We've had a lot of returning students, and so with the expertise that they picked up last year, they were able to really hit the ground running with the new car. And so this year we've actually made quite a number of changes, and so I'm really excited for this year's competitions.
Have you got any particular highlights that you like?
I've got to be honest, there are so many lovely new features on this car that we could be here a long time, but I think actually one of my favourites is actually our pedal box. So it did feature in some of our videos. Now, these cars actually have to accommodate quite a range of drivers, from the 5th percentile person to the 95th percentile person, so quite a large person. So to that end, we have adjustable pedals, and the pedal box on this car is very quick and easy to adjust, and it is incredibly light. So it weighs about 1.75 kilos, and that's down from about 4 kilos, which it used to be a couple of years ago. Wow. So that's probably one of my favourites on the car.
Yeah. Quite right too. Can I speak to the lady next to you? That's Katie Dobson. She's head of aerodynamics. And Katie, I mean, the car looks absolutely sensational, and you can tell that you have been one busy lady. How do you go about doing the aerodynamics from scratch? What is the first thing that you do?
Yeah, so essentially the first thing that we did was, as Tristan said earlier, we sat down when we got back from Formula Student Germany, and we assessed last year's car, and one of the first things was that we decided that we dramatically wanted to increase the amount of downforce that we had. So then started pen on paper, just a few sketches, see what we could come up with, and also with the implementation of side wings. So that was something that we were really, really, really keen to make sure that we got onto the car this year, and it's been successful as well. So,
I mean, without any testing, how do you know that with wings you're going to be better than without wings?
So one of our sponsors, CD Adapco, provides us with Star CCM software, which is a virtual wind tunnel. So I can take the CAD that we've built up on our computers and put that into the virtual wind tunnel, and then that can give us lift and drag values, coefficients of lift and drag, and we can compare them and basically see where the improvements are and what we can make better.
Now, it's one thing drawing the parts, it's another actually making them. So how do you go about that?
So most of the aerodynamics package is made from composites and predominantly carbon fibre. This was manufactured down on the south coast. One of our sponsors, RP Aero Systems. So myself and 4 others went down there for around about 3 weeks to manufacture all of the bodywork, all of the aero components that you can see, and a few other little composite parts that we've got on the car.
Now, you mentioned some sponsors there. I mean, how do you go about getting sponsorship? Are you on the phone, or is it contacts that you've already made?
So UH Racing, we're really big on keeping up relations with existing sponsors, and also bringing in new sponsors. So this year we've got Fix Auto, who have painted our chassis, for example, come in new this year. So starting off perhaps with a phone call or an email off to a specific company, looking around, especially at local companies, to see who can support us and what we can get and what we can give back to them as well in terms of social media, sort of getting their company out there and getting them known.
So a big team effort all round.
Definitely.
Okay, so moving on to the powertrain. So we've got Joe Mulvey and Jake Hardy. Can I first of all ask, why have you chosen a Honda CBR 500 engine? What attracted you to that?
Well, if anyone follows F1 at the moment, it might seem strange that I'm saying that we picked the engine due to reliability, but that is genuinely one of the reasons. So we implemented this engine first last year in UH19, and it was superbly reliable. It completed all events at competition. And one of the other reasons that we picked it as well is the previous engines that we were using were the KTMs. We found them to be expensive, and again, we're having reliability issues. We can actually purchase approximately 6 of these engines for the price of just one of the KTMs. And as you know, throughout the course of a season, we're obviously going to need more than one engine, because when you go testing, things do happen, and engine changes are needed. So yeah, we implemented it last year, and then this year, we've really pushed the limits and the boundaries with it. So when it comes out of the bike, it's making around 47 brake horsepower. This year, with the implementation of the turbo, we've actually pushed this up to almost 70 horsepower. So it's really up there and really competitive for this year.
And in terms of speed and numbers, what does that relate to? Sort of 0 to 60s or top whack? What can you get from it?
Well, it's an interesting question, actually, because due to the nature of the event, our longest straight of competition during the course will actually only be around 80 metres. So top speed isn't our main aim. It's the acceleration out of the corners that we really need. So that's the sort of package that we work towards. And myself and Jake and the rest of the powertrain team, with all the calibration work, we're trying to get that nice, smooth torque curve.
And with so many people in the team, how do you go about managing it? Because that's partly your responsibility, isn't it?
It is. As deputy team leader, I work under Tristan, and it's our job to try and make sure that the team are all happy as well as the car's happy. So, as you said, there's about 30 of us on the team. 10 of those are master's students like myself, and we look after the rest of the team overall. We've actually got one of our major sponsors on board this year, and they've been with us for a number of years, is P Cubed, and this year we've actually worked really closely with them on our management strategy to ensure that we manage the build of the car and the overall team. And obviously, alongside that, sitting down with your mates and having a drink at the end of the evening, a lot of discussion happens. We never stop talking race cars, and that's where a lot of decisions are made.
In the pub, as all good decisions are. Yeah, exactly. Jake, if I could have a word with you, how smooth running has everything been under his watchful eye?
It's actually been fantastic this year. It's been great. All of the hard work for everyone involved has really enabled us to produce within our department, everyone else's department, a great system. And as you can see today, the integration of everyone's work has enabled us to really sort of produce the best car that we can with all of our resources. So thank you to all our sponsors. Without their help, we wouldn't be able to do it. So
that's motorsport, exactly.
Yeah.
There. Now you're just responsible for the design of the exhaust system, aren't you? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So with design of the exhaust system, is based upon the positives and negatives of last year's system. So we look at the last year's system, and then we can implement it onto a system called Ricardo Wave. So Ricardo is a engine simulation software, so we can input the engine itself as a virtual model, and then model the exhaust thereafter and optimize that, and then we can put it into a number of our other simulation work and see which produces the best results, really.
So what happens now for the next couple of months?
Work will continue on the car. It's pretty much finished. It's just a few little niggles we have to solve, and then we're hoping to start the car and take it testing next week. So we hear the engine start for the first time, we hear the exhaust, and then after that it's just development work up until competition.
What would that feeling be like for you to see it, start up and go off in anger for the first time? How will you?
If I'm honest, it'll be really scary starting it for the first time. But then after that, like I said, with all the help from the guys who got in the team, we'll be able to make sure it's all reliable for competition and have the same sort of success we had last year.
Now, who gets to drive it? Because if I was in Formula Student, I would want to drive it. Is there a bun fight?
Sometimes, but often we have sort of a structured plan on who drives the car. So we'll go testing throughout the year. We'll take the old cars. We'll go karting and just work out and gauge interest from the experience we've got within the team. So we've got a number of people who take part in race series, and then we'll then decide on the quickest driver at the end of the day. But yeah, it's a fair decision at the end.
Great stuff. And then if I can ask, so I've got Jack Holden, who's the technical director who oversees everything technical, which is a massive title. But you also do some driving, don't you?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to drive the car last year in some of the events, so I can carry on that knowledge into the car this year, which is quite useful.
And I also saw on the video that you have a simulator. So what kind of things are you experiencing in there?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate to have the simulator. So essentially we can model the car in that simulator, and it reacts as if a real-life car would. So we can change setup on the car, we can change design parameters and see how that's actually going to handle before we then build the car and test it in real life. So it's really useful.
And what is it like to drive from your experience?
So obviously Joe's talking about the power. So first of all, acceleration. Obviously the cars typically weigh about 200 kilograms. So you've got the power of about a small car there in a car that weighs only 200 kilograms. So it's very quick in acceleration. But where it really is quite effective is in the corners. So with the aerodynamics package, the low weight and nice sticky tyres, so we're putting around 2G in a corner there, which is more than any road car can do. So yeah, that's where it really has its own.
And are you going down to the gym to get fit for your 2G?
Wow. Yeah, maybe I won't be driving this year then.
Now, I know you're
That
responsible as
degree
well for the
weight.
steering and the suspension, and you have an interesting suspension system this year. Can you-
Yeah, so it's quite interesting this year. We decided to take a step back really and look at the fundamentals again. And typically over the years we've gone more and more complex with the suspension. So we took a look at last year and thought, what are the components we actually need on the car, being such a lightweight car? And this year we tried to save costs. We're aiming to score points across all the events at competition. So that's one of the ways we've done that. But we've got bespoke dampers this year. We've got brand new CNC outrights and hubs. So we're trying to reduce weight where we can, still push the limits.
And what were your challenges that you faced? Or has it just been super smooth sailing?
Wow. No, of course, we come across quite a few challenges, and as they were saying, we essentially operate as a miniature business. So whether it's from procurement of parts or dealing with companies or outsourcing, so we come across quite a few challenges like that, real life challenges, but obviously working as a team and employing an effective project management strategy means that we can mitigate for those and get around those problems. So yeah, we've done all right, and obviously you can see the cars here, so yeah,
You made it.
Yeah, we've made it.
I mean, I think one of the massive challenges that you all face is the fact that you're doing this, which is almost like a full-time job, but you've also got a degree to worry about as well. I am blown away by what you can do. How do you juggle them both? What do you have to sacrifice?
Sleep.
Oh.
Yeah, lots of late nights. No, you just got to fit it in. There's always time. And because we absolutely love it, then that's the motivation to get up in the morning extra early and come in and work on the car. So that's what it is.
Oh. And if I can finish with Howard. So you go on to Silverstone in July, and what are your expectations then for the team for this year?
Well, absolutely nothing less than a podium will suffice. So expectations are high.
And what do you think is going to happen between now and Silverstone? What are your plans?
It's going to be a really exciting time because here we have the car that we've produced. So the students have designed it, they've made it, but the best part is yet to come. So this is where we really get to find out, just how good this car is. Obviously, take care of any problems that we may encounter. We've got to remember this is a prototype car. So, we do expect teething problems, but to me that's the most exciting times though, and just seeing how the team really pull together and how they go about their problem solving. So it's by far and away the best time of year.
And what are you feeling when you see the car start up and go off for the first time?
Just so proud. You've only just got to look at this car and, I've just been so lucky to have a great team. To be honest, I have a great team every year, but I'm just amazed by just the level that things are at. I mean, 20 years ago, we didn't have a car that looked like this. So, it's just incredible. And, there's only so much time, and yet these students, they find the time, they make the sacrifice. And so, they're all really to be commended. And, I have the privilege of, being able to do this every year. So, it's great for where I'm standing.
Now, you're a dad. You obviously have a favourite child every other day. Do you have a favourite team? Has this possibly been your favourite team?
Yeah, my daughter's waving because she's...
Today it's you.
Yes. Well, I'm very lucky to have so many alumni here, so I've got to be very careful what I say. So, no, but do you know what? Every year is different, though. And, one of the team members, we did a skill matrix at the start of the year. And so, the makeup of the team is always a bit different. And so, to me, that just keeps it really fresh. And so, people might say, you've been doing this for so long, you're not bored of this. But let me tell you, we have, so many great people coming through, and it's just great to see those people go on this huge journey, because at the start of the year, we could call this formula procrastination, where we talk about doing this, but actually they've really got to get on with it. And the end result is just absolutely phenomenal. It blows me away every year. So, yeah, no, as I say, from where I'm standing, it's looking really good.
Yeah, where I'm standing too. So seriously, well done, everybody. That's it. Great stuff. That's it from us for now. If I'd like to ask all of the team to come up for some pictures and to be led by Tarek Willis as well. He will take us through the rest of the proceedings. Thank you, everyone. Well done, Helen.
So thank you, Vicky and the team. We'll just assemble on stage. So good evening. As Vicky said, I'm Tarek Willis, the Electronics Manager and the Testing and Evaluation Manager this year. I hope you've all enjoyed this event and gained a little bit of an insight into our team and the building of UH20. To create this car, a plethora of resources and expertise have been required, and without our sponsors and partners, this project would not be possible. We're very proud as a team to be able to have worked with many companies who have supported us for many years, and we hope this partnership continues. I would also like to thank them for their financial, product, and technical support throughout the design and build of UH20. I'd also like to thank you, the audience, and people watching at home on the live stream. I know many of you will be friends and family who have seen, many of the team go through this journey throughout this year, and we see the highs, lows, late nights, the commitment and effort it takes to produce such a car. We hope that we'll be fighting for podium positions at competitions this year, and we look forward to seeing you all there in Silverstone in July. I'd also like to thank the university technicians, marketing, PR teams, as well as the academic staff who have offered their support, knowledge, know-how, and obviously helped us out with our degree program throughout.
The whole team as well, I'd like to thank Tarek and the rest of the guys who've organised this whole event this evening. On top of building the car, designing the car, doing the rest of their degree, they've also put on this fantastic event as well, which has been a great way to celebrate our 20 years.
So obviously, yeah, I'd like to thank the team for all their hard work and help. And finally, I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank someone who's been a part of Formula Student since its inception in 1997. He's been involved at every level, as a competitor, a scrutineer, to a faculty advisor. His input, commitment, and continued support has helped us, guide us over the years. So thank you, Howard. And we'd like to invite you to, say a few words and thank you for all the support, because obviously you've been doing it a long time now, so yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. What a surprise. You kept that one quiet. Yes.
Just about.
Very good. Listen, I do it because I just love it. As I said before, just the journey that the teams go through is quite incredible. It really is. It's just so much fun. I mean, at the end of the day, we're engineers. We like to solve problems. And this project, it really enthuses the students. There's just nothing else quite like it. So coming to these events, going to competitions, seeing the alumni, it's just fantastic. It really is. And it's a great network. And no, I mean, as long as, the boss will let me carry on doing it, then more than happy to carry on. And it's just great. It really is. So I have to say, just what the students manage, what they do, what they achieve, it's just incredible. It's not just one person. The team, really works so well together, and just to come up with a product like this is just absolutely incredible. It really is. I have to say that the support that we receive from all of our partners, sponsors, is just absolutely incredible. It really is. So we genuinely couldn't do this without you guys. So thank you so, so much. I really mean that. So just a big thank you to everybody who makes it happen. Thank you.
So the team will now have some photos on stage, and we'd like to welcome you through to a buffet dinner outside with some food and drinks, and we'll be bringing UH20, the new car, round and into the atrium with the rest of the trophies and exhibitions. So thank you again, and thank you all for coming, and we'll see you all outside where you can get a closer look of the car. Thanks.